Say you're walking barefoot and you step on a small piece of glass. Despite not seeing it happen, the foot does the seeing for you through the use of pain signals, indicating that something is wrong. But what allows the body to distinguish the difference between a shard of glass and a round pebble so quickly without even needing to lay eyes on the issue? Well, in most areas of the human body, there are specialized nerve cells called nociceptors that act as pain detectors. They're found in the skin, muscles, joints, and even some internal organs. The way they operate is just like any other type of nerve cell. They conduct electrical signals, relaying information from where they are located back to the brain. But what sets them apart from other nerve cells is that nociceptors only fire when something happens that could potentially cause damage to the body. See, they have to reach a certain threshold before they fire, such as being exposed to intense pressure or extreme temperatures. So most of the time, nociceptors are actually doing nothing, just waiting until something crosses that threshold. If you placed a 25-pound cement brick on top of your foot, you would feel the pressure of it as your regular nerve cells fire. But if you keep stacking the bricks, you'll get closer and closer to the nociceptor threshold. If you place too many, you'll cross that threshold and the nociceptors will fire, communicating to your brain that something is wrong. This is also the reason why we're naturally inclined to squeeze or apply pressure to an injury. If you've ever slammed your finger in a car door, you know that your first instinct is to squeeze that finger and apply as much pressure to it as you comfortably can. By doing this, you're able to flood the brain with pressure signals, effectively drowning out the pain signals that the nociceptors are sending. But this threshold for pain is not fixed, and certain chemicals can actually lower this threshold, allowing for nociceptors to fire more easily. When your cells get damaged, they'll release these chemicals, lowering the nociceptor threshold to the point where even light touch becomes painful, like when you get a bad sunburn, for example. Over-the-counter pain relievers like ibuprofen and aspirin block the production of one class of these chemicals called prostaglandins, but do so through different mechanisms of action. When your cells get damaged, they release a chemical called arachidonic acid. Then two enzymes called COX-1 and COX-2 convert this arachidonic acid into prostaglandin H2, which is then converted into various other chemicals that do things like cause inflammation, raise body temperature, and lower the pain threshold. Under normal circumstances, arachidonic acid binds to the active site of COX-1 and COX-2, causing it to be converted into prostaglandin H2. The active site is the region where the reaction takes place, and it's also the region where ibuprofen and aspirin go to work. What ibuprofen does is it binds to the active site, temporarily blocking it. Now, arachidonic acid can't bind to it, and the enzyme is useless until it spits out the ibuprofen and frees up the active site again. The way aspirin works is very similar. It binds to the active site, but then breaks off, leaving a portion of itself behind like a splinter, rendering the enzyme permanently useless. With the enzyme no longer capable of carrying out its intended function, the arachidonic acid never gets converted into prostaglandin H2, which then never gets converted into its metabolites, hence why Advil and ibuprofen can reduce inflammation, lower a high fever, and reduce pain in most areas of the body. That's pretty much it for how Advil and aspirin work. The more you learn about how our biology operates, the more you realize how incredible this molecular machinery truly is. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, that's all I do here on this channel, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content. And as always, thank you all for watching. I hope it was time well spent.